course said that they hated each other, but one of the producers walked away from the project and refused to finance the film as Blake Lively was the lead.
It was my first movie ever, and your faith in me.
Her secret plan is to always take control of the movies and lie to the directors to get it. This woman is a monster.
Hollywood worships the golden girl, right up until she kicks the studio doors off their hinges. Blake Lively just swung a wrecking ball through 2 battlefields at once, and the shockwaves refuse to quiet down. On one front, she's front page.
If you look at that URL, look at the date on that, 12/16/2000, okay? And that's largely due to the fact that she is a modern feminist, and so she has to create struggle where there just isn't any, okay? Not seen a case so open and shut in my life, and the more that I read and the more details that I get into, I'm just shocked at how many lies were told, okay?
Glossy, smiling in Time's 100 most influential people spread, dripping couture and killer confidence. On the other front, she's planting legal dynamite under director-producer Justin Baldoni, accusing him of sexual harassment, retaliation, and a career-destroying smear campaign.
On Blake Lively's claims that she was allegedly harassed by this guy when they shot the movie, It Ends With Us, a film about domestic violence. And was Justin didn't harass Blake. Blake was interested in wresting control of this movie away from Justin, who was the director and the producer. She was just an actress in it. There's just so much more to this story, and the media's already like self-flagellating. Oh, we were too mean to Blake. And now you see text messages from Blake Lively comparing herself. She's the mother of dragons in Game of Thrones, that she too has her dragons, Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift.
Courtroom insiders say that May 30th, 2025 could become the new OJ trial for the streaming era. Judge Sanchez will rule on whether thousands of pages of discovery stay under seal or explode across every gossip feed on the planet. If the lid lifts, we're talking raw HR emails, midnight, text threads, and shredded NDAs, all laid bare for the public's popcorn frenzy.
But they believed her narrative instantly because the allegations were so strong. And I just kind of held fire because I don't trust the New York Times to save my life.
There are text messages that refute every single thing in that complaint.
And that really they're bored and rich. Another circumstance that made me see right through Ryan Reynolds and the kind of person that he is when, despite being friends with Joe Alwyn, who dated Taylor Swift for 5 years, she's best friends with Blake Lively.
Blake isn't just fighting for damages, she's fighting for the right to rewrite the power hierarchy she says tried to muzzle her, and if she wins, her style of megawatt, no apologies aggression becomes the new blueprint for A-list actors everywhere. Strap in, because once you pop that can of Hollywood secrets, you don't put the worms back. Long before depositions and discovery motions, there was a dimly lit Warner Brothers audition room in 2014. Frustrated customers are not only offloading these subpar products, but are also flooding social media with viral outcries demanding accountability.
Shitty product with atrocious marketing. You have yourself a disastrous brand that will go out of business.
Blake's beauty brand is so bad they are donating her products to Goodwill. Gal Gadot, combat-trained, almost unknown, was test-fitting a cloak and shield for Wonder Woman. Blake Lively, fresh off Gossip Girl fame and hungry for a globally recognized franchise, allegedly swept into the same casting corridor, insisting she could sell more tickets with a single smirk. Gadot won the cape, but rumor says the rivalry simmered ever since, morphing into a quiet Cold War fought with polite smiles on red carpets and icy silence backstage.
All right, you guys, it is Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni Day. Finally, to all of the women out there that are watching, no matter what you do in life, you never, ever, ever go full Amber Heard.
You did not know both of their lawsuits had been consolidated into one legal showdown instead of these 2 separate lawsuits.
The New York Times apparently reviewed 1,000 or more pages of text messages. They would have seen it. Justin never wanted to hurt her, never wanted to be negative to her, and it's all over the place.
Fast forward to last week. A viral leak flies across YouTube claiming Gadot finally confessed to friends that Blake tried to strong-arm producers into recasting before cameras even rolled. The story racked up 2 million views in 48 hours. Timing, impeccable. Blake needs maximum credibility for her lawsuit. Gadot's grenade lands like an airstrike on that credibility. fans pick sides faster than ticket buyers at a Marvel?
This is about that narrative that I think they instantly started spinning. I believe that they are going to be able to prove in court that this was personal, Ryan Reynolds versus Justin Baldoni, all of the...
And to the point where this guy was in the basement at his own movie's premiere. And that what in fact happened was you guys were the ones out there generating negative press against Justin. You guys were the ones who were trying to ruin Justin.
Versus DC premiere. Every comment thread becomes a cage match. Blake's a power thief versus gals jealous of the Hollywood alpha. And we're just warming up. Next comes the set where everything fell apart. Spring 2023, a converted factory in Englewood, New Jersey, hums with lighting rigs and lavender-painted flats.
And used her PR people to try and destroy Justin. And we're carefully considering other people that will be sued.
Justin Baldoni owns the rights, the storyboards, and the director's chair. Or so he thinks. Blake arrives with top billing and, tucked deep in her contract, a clause demanding final say on any script changes that materially affect her character arc.
So in Justin Baldoni's lawsuit, he accuses Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively of colluding with the New York Times. Do you guys remember what the article was actually entitled that they actually released on 12/21? We can bury anyone inside a Hollywood smear machine.
By week 3, those script changes balloon like a rogue inflatable.
I have no idea on what grounds these two are going to attempt to dismiss his lawsuit. I could understand some possible arguments that her publicist might make and fail, because I told you, he's got evidence.
The bittersweet romance morphs into a slam the patriarchy manifesto, and half the scheduled locations shift to maximize modern urban female grit. Blake's and Staub. Words, according to one assistant director. She allegedly hijacks late-night rewrite sessions, crosses out entire page stacks, then circles new scenes in cherry red pen. Baldoni watches his pastel indie flick turn into an HBO-style thunderstorm, and each time he protests, Blake reminds him that her social media army dwarfs his. A crew member recalls her stating, "I'm the face selling the tickets." Deal. With it, small battles get lost to keep cameras rolling. Her budget-busting chase sequence stays. His subtle two-shot gets scrapped. By wrap day, two visions exist side by side. His camera angles, her megaphone. Cast whispers spread like brush fire. He's emasculated. She's unstoppable. No one's steering this ship, but the most explosive script rewrite will be filed at the courthouse. Not on final draft. December 4th, 2024. As snow dusts Park City, Blake's legal team marches into Los Angeles Superior Court and drops a 127-page complaint hotter than festival buzz. She levels nuclear accusations, sexual harassment, hostile workplace, orchestrated smear campaign. According to the filing, Baldoni first showered her with mentor energy, then pivoted to power play propositions when she demanded creative veto. Allegedly, when she rebuffed him, he leaked whispers of diva tantrums to friendly tabloids. Hoping to paint her unsellable, Blake refuses hush money. She goes scorched earth instead, calling him a wolf in feminist clothing in her press statement. Studios freeze upcoming projects, insurers frantically recalculate premiums, agents scour contracts for morality. Clauses. Twitter becomes a bar brawl, where Team Blake trends alongside Number Justice for Justin, each side firing meme artillery at the other. Hollywood's veteran publicists inhale sharply. A single unforced error could define the Now Me Too debates next chapter. But Baldoni isn't ducking. He's loading something heavier. January 16, 2025, Lower Manhattan. Baldoni's response isn't a mere denial. It's a financial bunker buster. He sues Lively for defamation and civil extortion, slapping on a $400 million price tag that screams headline gold. And he doesn't. Stop there. Ryan Reynolds, beloved Snark King and Blake's husband, lands on the filing's co-conspirator list. Baldoni alleges a 3-node PR machine. Blake spills claims, Reynolds amplifies with wry tweets. Publicist Leslie Sloan seeds the story to sympathetic outlets, all designed to strong-arm him into ceding producer credit and back-end points. Reynolds, blindsided mid-reshoot on Deadpool and Wolverine, reportedly unleashes a blistering private text. "Drag me again and I go murk with a mouth on you." Baldoni's lawyers salivate. Civil extortion means potential punitive damages, meaning Discovery could dig into Blake's entire communications history, Reynolds' sarcasm archive, and every back-channel email from on-set advisors. Investors. Sniff danger. Streaming platforms quietly shift release windows. The countersuit's message is brutal. You want war? Fine. Let's play with nuclear toys. And while Beverly Hills law firms bill by the minute, crew members start speaking out. April 15, 2025, 11:47 p.m. E! News drops a push notification that jolts every entertainment reporter awake. A seasoned camera operator claims Blake commandeered the production, shredded schedules, and berated Baldoni until he turned ghostly. 12 hours later, a lighting tech tells an online tabloid Blake mocked Baldoni's shot list as Baby's first storyboard, then threatened to walk if her reverse-angle glamour close-up got trimmed. Two grips pile on with tales of overnight rewrites that forced 20-hour days and screamed overtime violations. Suddenly, the harassment narrative gets murkier. Is Baldoni the predator or the pawn? SAG-AFTRA issues a carefully Switzerland-neutral memo about respecting all members. Meanwhile, Blake's old sisterhood of the Traveling Pants co-stars tweet cryptic blue heart emojis, and Ryan Reynolds posts a gif of Kermit sipping tea, a digital shrug that fans read as, "Wait for trial, kids." The Crew Call podcast leaks that 3 more anonymous workers filed depositions describing emotional hostage situations and gaslighting by celebrity. The irony: every accusation, whichever side it bolsters, inflates the film's value as cultural rubbernecking. It Ends With Us now feels like a documentary shot accidentally, but the industry's moneymen weigh something more arcane: risk premium. Math. While Twitter roasts her, Time magazine prints Blake's beaming cover and labels her an agent of disruption. The issue lands on coffee tables from Malibu to Mumbai, shifting public narrative overnight. Blake's PR team pops champagne. Baldoni's team calls it jury taint. Yet far from the glossy spreads, the real judgment happens in skyscrapers owned by insurance syndicates. Completion bond executives track something called the Risk Talent Score, a shadow metric combining public sentiment, past budget overruns, and probability of on-set chaos. After the rhythm section's cost overruns and rumored blow-ups on A Simple Favor 2, word is Blake's score just tipped from manageable to volatile. That tiny toggle can add 7-figure surcharges, spooking mid-budget films that rely on tight margins. A Netflix showrunner speaking off record confesses, "We love Blake's eyeballs, but the bond premium kills half our marketing spend." Meanwhile, Baldoni's indie projects stall under their own insurance hikes. Guilt by association drags him downward too. Hollywood's new rule surfaces: ignite a public war, and the risk calculator punishes both sides. The paradox? Blake's influence skyrockets even as her higher ability fluctuates, and the risk calculator's biggest data dump lands on May 30th, 2025. First light pours over Pershing Square, painting the tower tops blush pink before sliding down to the swarm encircling the Stanley Moss Courthouse. Satellite vans choke the curb. Boom mic forests sprout along Hill Street. Fans hold vigil since midnight, camping chairs wedged between steel barricades, homemade signs screaming either "Justice for Blake" or "Team Justin Forever." LAPD deploys extra crowd control units, not for riots, but for selfie stampedes each time a black-tinted SUV slows at the crosswalk. Inside Dep 24, the air conditioner fights a losing battle against body heat and TV floodlights. Reporters elbow for oxygen, thumbs hovering over phones as though poised on detonation switches. They all know the moment Judge Sanchez rules on. Blake's sealing motion the story either calcifies in mystery or becomes Hollywood's juiciest open-source file dump. If the seal cracks, every 2 a.m. text tirade, every shaky cast party video, every unused script draft with Blake's furious Scarlet edits, every HR memo flagged strictly confidential, even that rumored mediation conference call one, party supposedly recorded in secret, takes an express train to public servers. Entertainment lawyers call it career poison, streaming chiefs call it binge season gold. Netflix, Hulu, Prime Video, and an Apple TV Plus documentary unit have execs, physically seated in the gallery, their legal reps glancing back at them every few minutes for go signals. An entire row of junior attorneys cartwheeled briefcases stuffed with pre-written docuseries treatments, each pitch differing only in title fonts and episode runtimes. All they need is the judge's single word: denied. The strategy chessboard is set. Baldoni's camp filed notice to subpoena Gal Gadot, chasing the narrative that Blake leverages systemic career sabotage tactics whenever a coveted project slips away. They'll argue Gadot's decade-old Wonder Woman saga forms a behavioral pattern. Meanwhile, Blake's camp lines up an arsenal: 2 mental health experts ready to testify about gaslighting fatigue, 4 female cinematographers, prepared to swear Baldoni undercut their authority on set, and a hush-hush A-lister, rumored initials AJ, claiming she endured identical power plays from Baldoni during a 2021 indie shoot, and still bears the scars in stalled projects and shredded confidence. Hallway whispers hint at further bombshells. A forensic accountant promises to map millions worth of mysterious reshoot expenditures. Plus, an ethics professor slated to lecture the jury on weaponized feminism. Even court clerks can't resist rubbernecking. One slinks out of the file room mouthing insane under her breath. Streetside, cosplay activists escalate the circus. Wonder Woman armor clinks against floral lily bloom dresses. Someone lugged a 6-foot inflatable frog wearing Deadpool's mask with a poster, "Leave Ryan out of it." TikTokers live stream each new costume, racking up likes in real time. Vendors capitalize. Hawking Team Blake cupcakes, pink icing, edible gold glitter, and Baldoni Justice burritos, extra stuffed naturally. By 9:45 a.m., hashtags sealed or spilled, courtroom carnage, and Stanley Mosk showdown rocket into global Twitter trends. At precisely 10:14 a.m., Judge Sanchez emerges, robe swishing like impending doom. He taps the gavel once. The room inhales so sharply, it seems the walls bow inward. Sanchez is reputed for razor logic opinions and zero patience for circus theatrics. He scans counsel tables, arching an eyebrow at the platoon of suits, probably counting billable hours in his head. Reporters have pre-written 2 push notifications, one crowning Blake defiant heroine, the other anointing her Hollywood's cautionary diva. They hover over send buttons. Should Sanchez rule to unseal, the first PDF hits Pacer within 10 minutes, and by lunch, ESPN-style commentators. On TMZ Live, we'll dissect every emoji in Blake's private texts. Reputations drown by dinner. Advertisers flee, or double down, depending on which way the meme tide flows. Studio Greenlight Committee's meeting next week already updated their risk charts. A yes from Sanchez equals Amber Alert on any project involving either star. Bond insurers stand ready to hike premiums before sunset. But there's always the third rail, settlement. Even now, aides float between conference rooms clutching sealed manila envelopes. Word is the magic number sits north of 8 figures for each side, but Pride adds a zero inflation nobody mentions aloud. In Hollywood valuation, optics outprice cash. If either camp blinks, they concede narrative control forever. Whatever Sanchez decides, the sound wave travels fast. Agents, showrunners, and A-listers waiting on final script approvals will hear the verdict before their lattes cool. And when those phones vibrate, every future greenlight meeting recalibrates. Who holds power now? Who costs too much to insure? Who owns the spin? One wooden gavel crack decides the answers. Hollywood's timeline splits at that moment. Sealed silence or public bloodbath, and the industry will spend the next decade navigating whichever alternate reality Judge Sanchez writes into being. When the dust finally settles and the last TMZ drone packs up, Hollywood will update its secret commandments. If Blake walks away victorious, megastar actors everywhere will cite her as proof that you can bulldoze through a director, hijack a script, and still land on top, provided you fight with ferocious transparency. Producers will scramble to add contingency therapy budgets to their schedules, bracing for the next talent vs. director shootout. But if Baldoni clinches the win, Blake becomes the shiny caution sign on every studio lot. Cross the creative line, and courts can strip your halo in real time. Either outcome reshapes the balance between star charisma and directorial authority. Viewers will never watch It Ends With Us the same way. Each frame will feel like a footnote in a much bigger war. And somewhere in London, Gal Gadot may polish her tiara, scroll the headlines, and quietly prepare for her own sequel, one released into a landscape Blake Lively helped rewrite, for better or worse. The credits haven't rolled, the last act is still ahead, and Hollywood's power chessboard just tipped into sudden death mode.